Welcome back to our Regretful Parents series exclusive to YouTube. I'm Erica,
And I'm Kristen.
and today we are looking at a post from the Regretful Parents subreddit, and the title is apt for this series. The title is Regret is Not All Equal. And I love this post. I will give a warning, Kristen, because I know that you tend to bring in the short posts. I tend to bring in the long posts, and this is a long post, but it's a good one. All right, this person writes, I was just thinking something tonight as I crawled in bed, once again contemplating, as I do every night, how much I hate my life now. Yeah, that face is appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Alone in bed with just the dog because my husband is sleeping in the other room so we can both get a good, uninterrupted sleep. That's the norm now. AKA, we probably both just want our alone time because we are so overstimulated and burnt out. Me looking down at the dog who doesn't get as much affection and attention as he used to when it was just us as a couple with no kids, and thinking about how that breaks my heart. Me being annoyed it's almost midnight and I just crawled into bed and I'm going to be so tired for work tomorrow morning, but unfortunately, this is the norm when you have two young kids and a household to run. Any initial thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about something that's kind of tangential, and so you can cut me off if you want. But I cannot stop thinking about this interview recently with Andy Samberg and
Mm,
Seth Meyers and Amy Poehler. There's like this
yeah,
thing going
I've
around. Have you seen this?
Yep, I listened to the whole interview.
Okay, so just for context, Andy Samberg hates Seth Meyers' dog, Frisbee. He just thinks it's an ugly dog, doesn't want anything to do with it, whatever. And it's like an ongoing bit now in public where Andy Samberg brings up how much he hates Seth Meyers' dog. And Seth Meyers was like talking about how he had this dog, and Andy was like, I don't even, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me, but he said something to the effect of like, what, why do you even like care about this dog? You have kids now. And
Oh.
I can't stop thinking about it because I'm like, oh, I love Andy Samberg, but like I hate that mentality of like as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you have kids, your dog and your pets become lower priority
Mm,
and aren't as like deserving of like love and affection and compassion, and because
yeah.
your kids are like more important. And it just like makes my eyes roll into the back of my skull with frustration. And I just can't imagine being so unempathetic towards a creature that has no autonomy and is completely dependent on you, and to like a poor dog, a poor rescue dog in my case, who was on the streets, who didn't ask to be here, who has no
Mm-hmm.
human or thing to love and take care of it, and to be so dismissive towards this poor animal because you fucking created kids. And
Yeah.
now the kids are more important because you're an egotistical narcissist who wanted to reproduce. Sorry, that's like a blanket statement that's so rude to so many parents. But I just hate the idea of like saying like your dog should not have importance anymore because you had kids. So that's where
Yeah.
my brain is going when I look at this Reddit post.
Yeah, I will say you gave me so many thoughts about that interview with Andy because there is also a point later. I mean, Andy has had some very funny quotes where he like once on a late night show was like everybody like tells you to have kids, it's so great. And then, they come and they're like welcome to hell,
Yeah,
like
I've seen that.
so I think it's like well known that Andy is also like wow, having kids is really hard. I also will say, just so that people don't hate Andy Samberg too much, I do think the hate for Seth Meyers' dog is solely a bit. I don't think it's genuine because I don't know if you've seen Andy Samberg's dog, but it is like one of those mini
It's a little Italian
greyhounds.
greyhounds. Yeah,
Yeah. Which they are kind of freaky looking.
I
So
think they're cute.
I understand where the hate comes from, but I do think it's solely a bit. And also in that interview, I was going to say, because Andy, like, Amy asks Andy about like his marriage because I guess they have like a really great relationship. And he was like, "Oh yeah, like, I love my wife." And he said, "Obviously, like having kids changes a lot,
Yes,
but
I've seen that. Yeah.
but when it's just the two of us, it's like we're just like best friends having a sleepover again." And I was like, "Oof, the truth always comes out. It always seeps out into the little comments."
Yeah, well, that's what that is honestly, and I know we're getting so far away from this, but I think that's what even made me more mad because I knew in the back of my head that he feels this way, but he
Yeah,
clearly is also brainwashed into like the
right.
idea that like your kids take precedent over everything and like there is a hierarchy in terms of who you give your love and affection to once you have kids. So like I was almost more disappointed because I know he's talked about this stuff in the past.
Right. Now I do understand that. All right, carrying on. She says, "Regret. That's why we're all here, right? But I don't think all regret is equal. People say, well, you would regret not having kids when you're older and no one to take care of you. And while some days maybe that would be true when I was elderly and having a bad day, but I don't think those thoughts and those regrets would consume my mind every hour of every day. I know I would figure it out, go out of my way to make a lot of friends, likely be in a retirement community and work my way through the levels of care or with a private caregiver. I would surround myself with hobbies and interests. I used to have so many. I really don't think regret of no kids would be on my mind every day. Maybe just on the odd holiday or something if my spouse died and my elderly friends were around me were dying and I was having a sad day and felt a little more alone than usual. But the holiday would pass and the next morning would come and I would just go about my regular day being okay again."
It's giving me that we've had this discussion about antinatalism before, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you could experience like I can't remember the word that we used, but it was like if you can experience like the highest level of happiness, like the world's most pivotal happiness versus like the world's most worst pain, right?
Yeah.
With having a kid in this person's perception, every single hour is consumed with like that pain and the regret of having a kid. Even when like the highs are high of having a kid, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
consume their brain every hour of like this is a good thing, this is a good thing. Like it's worth it. I had 1 hour of happiness when we went to Disneyland. I was like unmatched to anything I've ever experienced in my life before that, right? Like the pain always outweighs like the happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I described that poorly, but you kind of get what I'm going with.
I do get where you're going. I wish that we had the actual quote in front of us because I feel like it's important. But you overall summarized it
Capture
well,
the
I think. The
sentiment. Yeah.
sentiment.
Yeah.
Okay, she said, "In general, I'm someone who enjoys my alone time and I got so much fulfillment out of hobbies. I would absolutely see the beauty of life and find moments of joy and happiness, even if I had some sad days and wondered what if. I know I would have enjoyed the ride and experienced many, many incredible years. So being sad for a few years while my body slowly started to give out as I aged and I lost people around me with my circle shrinking smaller and smaller as the years passed seems like a pretty good trade-off actually, rather than hating many decades of my life with what should have been the best years."
This person has thought deeply
Yeah.
about their regret.
Mhm. All right, she says, "But this regret that I feel as a parent happens literally every day, sometimes every hour of the day. The exhaustion and overstimulation and the sadness about missing out on hobbies and opportunities creeps in so heavily every day. It's weird. Every hour drags on, feeling like an eternity throughout the day, and yet at the same time, there's never enough time in the day. How is that even possible?" I shouldn't laugh at this person's pain.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "The profound sadness I feel over the loss of relationships and sense of self is indescribable. It is literal torture."
Wow.
She writes, I wake up every morning for a brief 15 seconds and I forget what my life is as I'm trying to wake up and regain consciousness, and it is the best 15 seconds ever until I fully open my eyes and come around and lay there, remembering who I am and what my life is, and I get up for the day to do it all over again. Isn't this so painful?
I mean, this person, I hope they're on serious antidepressants.
Truly, it doesn't sound like they are, but they need to stat.
Yeah.
They said there are very minimal moments of joy in this thankless role I've taken upon myself. This kind of regret will go on for years, decades, really. When is being a parent ever actually done? When does the worry and stress go away? Probably never. When I wake up in the morning, regret. When I'm trying to get the kids out the door and I'm stuck in traffic, regret. When I'm exhausted at work, regret. When I'm at the grocery store, regret. When the weekend comes, regret. When I'm tired of being touched and overstimulated, regret. When I'm up all night stressed and I can't sleep, regret. When I have a million things on my list to do, regret. When I'm running on empty, regret. When the house is noisy and messy, regret. When I'm sick and I have to somehow keep pushing through, regret. Regret, regret, regret every day. All right,
You
there's one
actually
more
forgot 2 more
paragraph.
regrets.
Well, I kind of got tired.
Regret, 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 regret every day.
How do you think she feels?
Yeah, right? Like it's not clear enough. Holy shit. Uh,
All right. And then she says, these types of regret are not even comparable. So, to the person who is being pressured into having kids and told that you'll experience regret once you're older if you don't have any kids, trust me, that regret doesn't even compare to the daily torture that many of us are facing, and don't let them fool you otherwise. Regret is not equal, and I'm learning that the hard way, unfortunately. That's the thing about life. We are humans, and part of the human experience is experiencing regret in many forms. We aren't meant to go through life with zero thoughts of regret or what ifs. That's normal. That's healthy. That's unavoidable. And I would totally welcome that at any age with healthy amounts of regret or thinking about what if I had made a different choice. But at the end of the day, you crawl into bed, still feeling proud of the life you created and thankful for the things you have. That's how I would have been as an elderly person having not had any children. But this life I've created now, this is something painfully awful. This is worse than prison, quite frankly. My own personal version of hell.
What's interesting too about this is that they're not even thinking at all about, like, what if one day I am glad I did this? Like, this person is self-proclaimed in prison forever, in hell forever. There's no end in sight at all ever, which is like, I want to believe, as a person who's not on the inside of this situation, that like maybe their kid will grow up to be a great kid and they'll get along and then all this pain will be worth it. And that's what I think parents hope, right? Like
Yeah.
they hope when they're raising kids, like it's hell for the first X amount of years, but then it was like, good thing I did it. But this person is so definitively like being child free, not having kids is the better path. 100%. There's no doubt in this person's mind, is like kind of reassuring as a child free person.
Totally. And I think that's the thing, too, that's so interesting to me is because I do feel like we hear from a lot of parents like, yes, it's really hard. Yes, this is really painful, but it's really only a couple of years. And then those years pass and everything is like, you're happy for it. And she's basically saying, no, even like the best case scenario does not make up for the fact that I'm missing so many experiences and opportunities that I wish I was having, and I'll never get this time back.
Yeah, I'm missing the best years of my life. Erica, how does it feel to know that you're in the best years of your life?
I mean, I'm tempted to make a joke. But like truthfully, these are like the best years of my life. Like
Yeah.
we love our house. We're having so much fun fixing up our house. I feel like this is like the best time in my marriage. Like things are really good for us right now and like we're just having so much fun all the time. I just quit my job. Like we're making a podcast that I love. Like I get to make content with my best friend every single day. Like this is the best time of my life. I mean, not for long, but for the time being, I have disposable income. Like didn't have that in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the best time of my life and like
Yeah.
would not have been if I had children.
Totally.
What about you?
100%. I mean, my stress in my life is so inconsequential and incomparable to a parent's stress.
Totally.
And I would never for a second wish I had it.
No, never.
By the way, I kind of remembered what I was trying to allude to earlier, which was, would you experience 5 minutes of the world's greatest pleasure if you
Mm,
had to experience 5 minutes of the world's greatest pain? And it was like, absolutely not, because
yeah,
pain is so much worse than pleasure is good.
yeah,
Like you can have PTSD from pain for the rest of your life. You can not come back from that. Where it's like, yeah, even the
yeah.
best pleasures in life, I'm not even interested in trying. Like I'm good with the amount of pleasure I can experience on a normal basis.
Yeah, and even like the experience of pleasure is so much more fleeting in your mind than the experience of pain. Like I'm trying to think what the most pleasurable moments of my entire life have been.
Right. Yeah.
But I can think very easily about the most painful experiences of my life.
Right. Like it reverberates on a different level of our consciousness than pleasure ever would.
Yeah. Top most upvoted comment. This is the best written post I've read in a few days. It's so, so sad. That's 107 upvotes.
Which is sad in and of itself that this is the best written post in a few days. Like this is not even like best of the year, like the best described experience I've ever seen. It's just, yeah, the last week it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, right. One person said, beautifully said, having children is not a guarantee that they will be around or care for us when we're older. So the regret of not having children for this reason may not even be the case. I have things set up so that my child will not have to make decisions or care for me. Thank God for this person.
Yes.
I was recently away for 2 weeks by myself, and a happy version of myself emerged. When I returned, I just cried.
When they first when you first started talking, I thought this was written by a child-free person who just came in to kind of reiterate some of the things that we've heard, right? That having
Mm-hmm.
children is not a guarantee that they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
around. And the fact that this is from a parent is like, oof,
I know.
even they acknowledge like there's no guarantee. Oh, wait, I had one other thing that I was thinking about as you read this. Oh, I love that they have things set up for for my child so they'll not have to make decisions or care for
Decisions.
me. I was reading this, I think, on Reddit recently, and I should have done like a video about it. But basically, there was somebody who said like they went to a funeral home and prepaid for their funeral and made all of the arrangements for themselves, so it'd be one less thing for their kids to have to do when they passed.
Mm,
And I wish that was a fucking law.
yeah, seriously.
Everyone should be taking care of their own death plans.
Yeah.
And as someone who's gone through it myself, like when somebody in your immediate family dies and you're on the hook for making sure there's a memorial, a funeral, their remains are being taken care of, et cetera, et cetera. You have so much going on in that condensed window of time. The pain is unfathomable until you experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have to be like, oh, now I have to think about logistics and like, what would they have wanted and what do I
Right.
want? Like, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck
So
that.
if I could give any advice to any parent, please, I'm begging you, go take care of your own fucking death right now.
Yeah,
'Cause you
totally.
never know.
Because even that, like, even if you get like the simple logistics out of the way, your plot, your will, that kind of stuff, they're still going to have so many other things to take care of. At
100%.
least take one thing off of their plate. It's been real.
Been
I think
real.
that's a good place to stop it,
Too
right?
real, to be honest.
Yeah, too real. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Dinky is a podcast that you can listen to wherever you want.
I was going to say, that's not our outro for this.
No, it's just a podcast, and you can listen to it if you like this. We get a little crazier on our regular episodes, and we get a lot crazier on our bonus episodes in our Patreon, which you can subscribe to it in the show notes.
Very well said. Very well said.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before we go?
Nope, that's it. Thanks
All
for
right.
watching.
Love ya.